When you compress your eating into a focused window, often called OMAD, or 1 meal a day, you're not starving. You're activating a system most modern humans have never used. Imagine a warehouse where delivery trucks never stop arriving. The manager is overwhelmed, boxes keep stacking, exits are blocked, repairs are ignored because there's no time. This isn't just a metaphor. This is your body when you eat all day. Now imagine what happens when the doors finally close and the trucks stop coming. For the first time in years, the cleaning crew shows up. Today, we're looking purely at the physiology of what happens when you stop eating. We'll go hour by hour through a 23-hour timeline so you can understand why delaying that 1 meal might be one of the most powerful health decisions you make. Let's start the clock. First phase, hours 0 to 4. The timer begins the moment you finish your last bite. During these first few hours, you're full. Your system is loaded with energy. Your stomach is actively digesting, breaking proteins into amino acids and carbohydrates into glucose. That glucose enters your bloodstream, and your pancreas responds with releasing insulin. Insulin is the key player here. Think of insulin like a one-way gate. When insulin is elevated, energy flows into your cells, but it cannot come back out. As long as insulin is present in your bloodstream, your fat stores remain locked. You cannot access body fat in this phase. It's biologically restricted. During these first hours, your body prioritizes immediate fuel. It uses what's already circulating. And if there's excess, which in modern diets is almost always the case, insulin stores that extra energy in your liver and muscles as glycogen. Glycogen is like a wallet, quick energy, easy to access, but limited. At this stage, everything feels normal, but nothing significant has changed yet. Next phase, hours 4 to 12. This is where most people quit. Around hour 6 to 8, blood sugar stabilizes. The surge of energy from your last meal fades. The system quiets. Insulin begins to decline, and your brain sends a signal. Fuel is running low. This is ghrelin, the hunger hormone. It rises. You feel it in your stomach. Maybe irritability, maybe discomfort. This is often mistaken for starvation, but it's not. It's simply your body asking for easy fuel. Your system has been conditioned to expect constant input, like a car that's always used premium fuel, now and is being forced to switch sources. It hesitates, but if you push through this moment, something important happens. Your liver recognizes that no new food is coming, so it opens your glycogen stores. It begins breaking down glucose to maintain stable blood sugar. You are not losing muscle. You are not in danger. You are using stored energy exactly as your body was designed to do. At hour 12, glycogen levels begin to drop significantly. Now the body faces a choice: shut down or switch systems. And because your body is built for survival, it switches. Insulin drops to its lowest baseline. This is the signal your body has been waiting for. An enzyme is activated. Hormone-sensitive lipase. This is the key that unlocks your fat stores. For the first time, your body begins using fat as fuel. You are no longer running on food. You are running on internal energy. Hours 14 to 16, the transition phase. Here, the experience changes. Hunger fades. Energy stabilizes. Why? Because your fuel source is no longer inconsistent. When you rely on food, energy rises and falls, but when you rely on fat, energy becomes steady. You have tens of thousands of calories stored as fat, even in lean individuals. This is a long-lasting energy reserve. As fat breaks down, the liver converts it into ketones. This is critical because the brain cannot use fat directly. It needs glucose or ketones, and ketones is a superior fuel. They burn cleaner, produce more energy per unit, and generate less oxidative stress. This is why many people report a shift around hour 16. Mental clarity increases, focus sharpens, energy becomes stable. You don't feel depleted, you feel alert. This makes sense evolutionarily. A human searching for food needs to be sharp, not sluggish. Hours 18 to 16. Now we enter one of the most important phases, autophagy. Think back to the warehouse. Now it's empty. No incoming deliveries. The system needs resources, so it begins recycling. Damaged structures, old components, waste, everything gets broken down and repurposed. Inside your body, cells begin identifying damaged proteins, malfunctioning mitochondria, misfolded structures, even invading pathogens. All of it gets isolated, broken down, and reused. This process is called autophagy. It means self-eating, but it's actually self-repair. This is one of the most powerful mechanisms in the body, and it only activates when you stop constantly feeding. This is when true cellular cleanup begins. Hours 20 to 22. Now comes a common concern. Won't the body start breaking down muscle? In reality, the opposite occurs. At this stage, your body increases production of growth hormone, GH. This hormone protects muscle tissue. It signals the body, preserve lean mass, use fat instead. During fasting, growth hormone levels can increase dramatically. This creates a unique physiological state, low insulin, high growth hormone, a combination that supports fat loss while preserving muscle. Your body prioritizes survival. It will not sacrifice muscle when fat is available. Hour 23. Now you're approaching your eating window. Your body is fully primed. Insulin sensitivity is high. Your cells are ready, like dry sponges, prepared to absorb nutrients efficiently. Your digestive system has rested. Inflammation has reduced. Your metabolism is stable. You are running on fat. Your brain is supported by ketones. Your system has cleaned and repaired itself. You are not depleted. You are optimized. Now you eat. And this is where many people fail, because what you eat now matters significantly more. This is not a reward. This is rebuilding. Start with protein, high-quality sources to repair tissues and support muscle. Then add healthy fats to maintain metabolic stability. Then include nutrient-dense foods, vegetables, minerals, electrolytes. Because you're eating once, you need density, not volume alone. If you break this fast with processed food, you overwhelm the system. Blood sugar spikes, insulin surges, and energy crashes. Now, the adaptation phase. If you switch suddenly, it will feel difficult. Your body needs time to shift from glucose dependency to fat utilization. This is called metabolic flexibility. During the transition, you may feel fatigue or headaches. This is often due to electrolyte loss. As insulin drops, your kidneys release sodium and water. You need to replace them. A small amount of salt can make a major difference. Don't rush. Gradually extend your fasting window. Allow your body to adapt. And one more thing. Fasting is a stressor. If your baseline stress is already high, this can increase cortisol. So this approach is not for everyone. Avoid if you are pregnant, have medical conditions, or are under medical treatment without guidance. We live in an environment that encourages constant eating. It teaches us to fear hunger. But hunger is not an emergency. It is a signal. And when understood, it becomes a tool. Beyond fat loss, this approach offers something deeper: control, freedom from constant cravings, a return to a more natural rhythm. You are not starving. You are adapting. You are allowing your body to function as it was designed to do. If you try this, tell me, did you struggle at hour 12 or feel the shift at hour 16? I'll see you next.